Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to yet another inspiring episode of the Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate. And today on the show, we are very much humbled to be hosting an award-winning entrepreneur with 90 plus awards in her name. 90 awards. Wow. Right. She is an inspirational speaker, an author, and so many things that we are going to find out in this interview today. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome on the show Dr. Faith Nyamukapa. Dr. Faith, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor having you. Maybe the first question, Doc, before we dive into anything else, how does it feel to have 90 plus awards?
Well, for me, I've lost count, but I feel humbled in the sense that it really expresses and shows that I'm making impact out there, and also how people recognize the efforts. At times, it's very demotivating when you do work and people hardly notice. But when you then find people noticing the work that you do and recognize it, I feel honored. Yes.
Wow, and I'm also inspired myself because, you know, I have got 4 awards in my name. And then when I meet someone with 90, I feel naked, you know.
It's a journey.
Yes, of course. Yes, so I've got maybe some 86 more to get to your level. So thank you very much for that. But Dr. Faith, to those people that may not know who you are, I gave a short introduction because we want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Dr. Faith?
Well, greetings to you, everyone. I'm a person who is passionate about transformation, development, and just to see a change in people, in communities, in nations. So what drives me is the need out there. So when I see needs and then my desire and commitment to transform those situations, I'm moved to act. So being a results-oriented person, I'm always in action. I'm always busy trying to find a solution, be it a community, be it an individual. So for me, I'm also an author. I also write. I'm an inspirational speaker. And fortunate enough, the following month, I'm heading to Dubai to speak representing Zimbabwe. And I'm like, wow, people get to know me through different arenas. But all the same, I'm an accountant by profession and an auditor by practice. So people would say, a figure-oriented person, why is that you're now doing more than what you've been trained? But I think it's passion. And also building a network of diverse people, diverse backgrounds, and also different ethnic groups across the globe, and also the platforms at which I've been presented to. I've also tried to relate with different groups. So when people want to know information, factual information, the first point people come to me. So I've become a resource center or an information center. And yeah, it gives me that confidence that, oh, okay, people have confidence in me. So I've built a brand over time. It doesn't take hours. It takes time for people to trust in you, for people to have confidence in what you do. Because at times you can call for something, but there's no response. But nowadays, if I call for something, the response is amazing.
Wow, amazing. And then from your profile, you have got 2 doctorates, is it? so talk to us about that journey. How did your journey actually start? I know you started off maybe as an accountant, as you mentioned. Take us through maybe a little bit. I know it's quite long, but maybe just give us the highlights of the journey, how it's been so far to up until where you are now.
I think I've been a philanthropist when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I used to help communities, be it in primary school or high school. Even when I went to college at Africa University, I was more involved in community development. So that passion grew continuously. So when I worked with High Life Foundation, it's also a non-governmental organization. So their programming work is also what attracted me to be in that organization. So that thirst and hunger continued to grow until I then decided to go out into the world and try to extend my energy, my support to different communities. So upon leaving and then being hands-on on the work that I do through Kindercare Zimbabwe and other initiatives, my work began to be identified and recognized. So I'll then say, people outside Zimbabwe, how did they get to see? It's quite so shocking, but then you find, as I share my information, there's a way I do it. It's short, precise, but I try to catch attention even through the images. So when people see the images that I share about the work, it draws attention. So I've tried to master the best way possible to raise awareness of my work. But for me, I'm not a person who usually talks about my work. I used to be behind the scenes. I never wanted people to know that I was the one with this organization. I preferred the backbencher. I preferred being behind the scenes and maybe the team being the ones in front. But when such recognitions came, people like, no, we need to know who runs this. Yeah. So philanthropy has been part of me. It's still part of me. And that honor came in 2016 under the International Institute of Philanthropy and Women's University of Mauritius. So it's Humane Letters and Masters in Business Leadership.
Wow. Now let's talk about your journey in entrepreneurship. I know, of course, we're going to talk about the awards, but you've been recognized by MegaFest some time back then. So talk to us about how your entrepreneurship journey started, and just a narration of how it is up to now.
Entrepreneurship started in 2010, 2009, 2010. I've always had passion of just doing something. So you find, even when I began Mary Kay business in Zimbabwe, the one that is based in UK, it was more of network marketing. So it was just a tester to see how best I can try entrepreneurship. But for me, I was never a person who was outgoing. I was too shy. I was very quiet. I was an introvert. So I wanted to just try and build up my confidence and try if I can be able to do something. So as I relate with different people at church, at school, it slowly made me to have that rapport with people and understand what really the basic issues are in business. How can you sell a product? How can you also at the same time accommodate a customer who wants a product but it's not available? So through that network marketing business, I began to then see beyond. So like now I was like thinking, I even did a salon. Like, oh really? So I would try so many things. I did a salon. I ran a preschool in 2012 to 2013. I think that then gave birth to Kindercare Zimbabwe, because my passion is with children. My passion is with education. I'm more concerned on our future generation. So when we mold the younger generation in that tender age, we're building a brighter future. So my thirst is to help lay a brighter future for the youngsters, because when we then catch them young, we are building them very fast than how we were brought up. So for me, I knew more things when I was now older, and yet when I was growing, I was never exposed to so many things. So even opportunities, as they came later on. So when I see and I read opportunities that people say me, like, below 35, I'm like, I'm over 35. So you find time is the one that then limits us. So I always tell people it's good to maximize the opportunities that you have at the most possible time, because by the time you reach 40, now I'm 40, I'm like, so I hardly have opportunities. I hardly have opportunities that are vast between 18 and 35. So within the age group, there's so many opportunities where organizations and countries look for Africans. All things paid for. You just apply, and if you're selected, you go. I've represented Zimbabwe in so many platforms, so many opportunities that come through. So all that said, my encouragement is that in as much you want to get into the journey of entrepreneurship, it all comes to you yourself, the person, and the mindset. Is the mindset geared and ready to be committed? Because entrepreneurship, you incur losses. It's not always the time you have a sale. A day can come, you don't have a sale. But perseverance, I've learned to persevere, consistency and commitment. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing your journey with us and for sharing those tips with us. So Doc, you have traveled around the world. You have seen it all. Maybe not all, but you're still seeing. Talk to us about some of the initiatives that you have done. You said you have represented Zimbabwe at a global level. Talk to us about some of those those opportunities that came to you and you were like, ah, wow, do I deserve this?
Okay, thank you so much. One of the opportunities was the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which came through, I think, in 2015, and we had to go to Nigeria 2016. That was the last time they had to physically accept people to travel to Nigeria. So there I represented Zimbabwe under the education sector under Kindeke Zimbabwe. So I find for me, entering the education sector was more of a niche market for me. Back then, ECD was no longer, it was not more vocal than it used to be now. So I entered that market because it was a niche opportunity. So no wonder Kindeke Zimbabwe was known more because it was something that people were like, oh, we still want to know about this. What is ECD in Zimbabwe? So having been there, it was more of learning from other entrepreneurs and seeing the differences in terms of education and how other entrepreneurs are doing it back there. In Africa, we are the same, but it all depends on how we see opportunities, implement, strike the deals, and come back and implement. So our role was to go and learn and then come back and implement. So implementation is what is key. So other opportunities that came, I went to Dubai. I represented Zimbabwe, and there it was with the Swaziland Kings, the Sharks, it was presidents. So I find I've been to platforms where they're high profile people. I'm like, do I really deserve this? But at the same time, it's getting to learn how to pursue greatness. So even in the presence of greatness, I had the opportunity of being in the presence of greatness, but also maximizing that small opportunity to be in there and learn from them. And then you come back and say, okay, this is what they do. They humble themselves to an extent where they're also hands-on in their businesses. They're also hands-on on the initiators. I've run so many initiatives across the board, be it education, empowerment for women, the youth, the girl child. I pursue more the girl child because I'm a girl child. I'm the only girl in my family. So being the only girl, I'm like, no, I need to also inspire the young girls. So when I speak in schools, when I'm invited to speak in different platforms, I'm more of inspiring the girl child that you have a brighter future out there. You can do it irrespective of the background. So if I was an orphan and I've walked the journey, I can be this far. You also can be this far. But you find even with child-headed families and being the girl child who's looking after the siblings, we still motivate them. Sisterhood is a role to play. How can we also nurture the young girls, us as the older ones, and still carry them up to where we would want them to be?
Clapping hands for you. Wow, we are learning from you, and thank you very much for sharing for that. Viewers, we are going to take a short break. But after this break, I think most of you want to know how these 90 awards have come. Of course, she has told us, but I think we want to dive more into these 90 awards and get to know some of the institutions that have recognized here. So stay tuned. Please do subscribe to this channel. Invite someone to watch this episode with you. Thank you. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the decisions that you're making. Welcome to today's success tip with Coach Tendai Mungate. Please do subscribe to this channel to get more of these inspiring episodes. Right, today I would like to talk to you guys about decisions. The quality of your life is determined by the decisions that you're making. What decisions are you making? Just ask yourself that question. What decisions are you making? Ladies and gentlemen, for me to be doing this video, I made a decision. For you to be seeing this amazing production, it's because of a decision. For you to be seeing this amazing production, someone made a decision of creating a camera. So what decisions are you making today? Allow me just to share with you 2 decisions that I want you to make today. Number 1, decide to start. Whatever dream idea that you have, are you starting? Stop sitting on your own invention. Number 2, decide to never give up. Life will get tough, things will get hard. You will face adverse situations, but that doesn't mean you should stop pursuing your dream. So at the end of the day, what decisions are you making? Thank you very much for watching this video. This is Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate. Please do subscribe to this channel to get more of this amazing, inspiring success tips. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate show. And today on the show, we are with Dr. Faith Nyamukapa. And she's an award-winning entrepreneur. As you can see, the table has changed a little bit. We've got some of her awards here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think now we are now diving into her awards. Doc, let's talk about these awards.
Sure.
I know there are many, 90 plus, but on the show you managed to bring us these ones. Maybe let's start off with talking about this one. Mm-hmm. In 2018, you got recognized by Ziwa, most inspirational woman. Mm-hmm. Wow, how was it?
I felt honored in the sense that for me, my daily routine is when I wake up, mm-hmm. I have to have my daily motivational words. So even on my social media, for people who follow me, I inspire people. Mm-hmm. So my role has grown to beyond myself. Mm-hmm. I've grown to inspire anyone who is within my peripheral and beyond. Mm-hmm. So being an inspirational recipient of that award, I was honored to see, oh really, there are people out there who are always inspired by what I do, by what I share. At times it's experiences, at times it's the word of God. I'm a Christian. So I thank God for who I am and Him taking me through this journey of life. I still focus on Him because He holds my hand and takes me through all the different areas of life. So receiving that award in 2018 was a great honor, and it motivated me to inspire more people, to be an inspiration to many, to be a role model to many.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about this one. This is the Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yes.
First runner-up. Wow.
ZNCC, this award came under the education sector, 2017, and this is under Kindeke Zimbabwe. So the work that we do as Kindeke Zimbabwe, we try to be different. We don't really do work that is common. So when we tailor-make programs, we try to have it done in a way that there is more impact. So when we focus our workshops or capacity building trainings, we even go to the rural schools. We empower the rural schools. So it's always not all the case where people say a school doesn't have textbooks. So when we went to Norton, they said, Doc, we don't have learning materials. And we said, we can help you in terms of capacitate you in teaching you on how you can make learning material from recyclable materials. So we took facilitators there. What we did was mobilization of recyclable materials, the pizza boxes, cornflakes boxes, what they didn't have in the rural communities. Then we took them there. Wow, it was amazing. They liked the workshop over 2 days. It was something that they never thought or they never knew. So it created an excitement in them, and even the community appreciated, because we had the council of that Norton community coming, and the community leaders like, wow, if only we knew. So schools will then be able to develop their own learning materials, be it the mathematical blocks, the counters, puzzles, you name it. So there was a transition in terms of learning, because now children, when they didn't have learning material, and then the teachers got capacitated, the interest in teaching and learning by the kids also boosted because of that intervention. So our interventions are more on trying to cover a gap that is currently there in the community and being known by the actions. So we don't talk more about us, but we allow our work to speak more on our behalf. Yes.
So allow. That's it. Lesson there. Allow your work to speak for itself. You know, at times, as much as you want recognition, does your work deserve to be recognized at the end of the day? So let your work speak for you. All right, moving on with the awards. You have been recognized by this one is Africa's most influential women in business and government. Wow. Tell us a little bit about this. This was in 2017.
Sure. The CEO network is a regional network, and these awards happened in Zambia. So it was my first regional award. Mm-hmm. In fact, there were 3 because I received from the same program.
This one as well.
Then the other one happened the following year. Okay. So it was mostly in education and training for Kindeke Zimbabwe. So in that network, what showed me was the caliber of people, very high profile people, and also the same question would come is, how did they get to know my work in Zimbabwe? Young as I am, but then going there, you find there were very older people and people who have been there in the field. So entrepreneurship, the impact of entrepreneurship has nothing to do with age. That is what I learned. So you can still be young and still do impact. You can still be old and still make impact. What then matters is your commitment and dedication. So these awards, I honored them because they are country winners. I represented Zimbabwe. So I remember we were two of us, myself, and Dr. Betty Makoni, who's based in UK, was also a recipient of the same. She's also into education. So being two recipients of those awards, it was a great honor for Zimbabwe.
Wow. Amazing. I'm tapping into this grace. Guys, sooner or later, maybe I will be doing my awards on this show. And then there's this one with this.
This was the biggest award I got. It's the Order of the Hand. I had to travel to Ghana to receive this award, which was the Order of the Noble Hand of Honor. So here it was a child summit where they're honoring people who have worked on the rights of children across Africa. So our work focusing on the rights of children, on interventions in education, and the growth of children, be it health and dignity. It was a great honor. With this award, there were presidents.
Wow.
Female presidents, the vice presidents, or the spouses to presidents. So I brushed shoulders with very dignitary people. So I also felt honored to be recognized to be a recipient of that. This was under the United Nations Convention, and I'm grateful for such.
Wow.
Sure.
Amazing. And I recognize that you were also recognized by JCI. I think there's the award,
yeah, coming to the local
awards, yeah.
With JCI, I've been with them. I think I've been in JCI since high school.
Okay.
So I always laugh. I'm like, oh, really? I never knew that this thing would take me this far. So you find when Boost Zimbabwe was also taking place with JC Zimbabwe, they would go into schools and teach us entrepreneurship. And then we compete among schools. So JCI also have been there from high school. And here I was able to give back to the community where I offer my services as a judge. So it was a certificate of appreciation where with their top 10 outstanding entrepreneurs, we participate in evaluating and then streamlining to get our final entrepreneurs for the year. So that's JCI. Then we've got Global Shapers Zimbabwe. This was also for Kindake in 2018, where we got the runner-up position in the education sector in Zimbabwe. We have different organizations in education in Zimbabwe. So how we stand out is how we do things and how we create impact from the work that we do. Then the one that made noise was the one for last year, the Go-Getter. The Go-Getter founding 100, being amongst the 100 women profiled under the Go-Getters movement. It was really an honor, and we continue to give inspiration to the young generation, to entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe. So 100 entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe. You can imagine how many millions of us are in Zimbabwe.
Exactly.
Then they handpick 100 and I'm part of it. I'm greatly honored and humbled to have been a recipient of such an award. Yeah.
Wow. So from these recognitions, Doc, what inspiration, maybe what lessons have you learned from this? Maybe 3. I know there are many, but maybe just share a few. How has this really impacted you? Some lessons that you've learned from this.
The lessons that I've learned through this is the need to not tire, run with your vision. No matter how small your vision is, still polish it as you go. Because even if it was comparing myself in 2015 and now, there's been a transition. So if I had started in 2016 being hands-on because I was formally employed, and now being hands-on, I could be able to participate. So even being an entrepreneur, be hands-on in the work that you do, because you have to master specific areas and skills and work that takes your business from one level to the other. So your commitment to your work should also be consistent. People are more concerned on trying to see, is this person going to stay long on this journey, or we are just quitters? So a person is getting entrepreneurship for wrong motives. What really drives you? Is it the motive for money, or is it the motive for impact? You can do impact at the same time. You can even raise money through different projects. So consistency and the quality of excellence. My work speaks on excellence, and it leaves an imprint. So even when my event that I did last week for Entrepreneurs Meetup, people still talk about it. There's something that I should leave in the minds of people that makes the event memorable. That's who I am. So when you walk the journey of entrepreneurship, still focus on your vision, polish on the areas that you need to polish, because there are challenges that come along the way. It's not an easy journey. No, for us as Kindake Zimbabwe, we've not received any external funding. That's us. That's how you'd want it. We've been doing our work within our scope of work. So if it's workshops should just be conducted within the budget. People pay and do the work. So how we did it was we tried to make sure that we master our own work. We put our systems in place before we get funding outside. So even when we present ourselves now, we are confident enough because we've survived for all these years with our own internal funding. So we have to prove ourselves on sustainability before we then go out there and seek for funding.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And then moving on with the interview, have you ever failed? I think people, I think people would be curious to know, because with all these awards, people will be like, so she has never. What are some of maybe one failure you would say this one was just?
I failed in life, yes. You find failure is part of the journey of life. Failure helps you to learn, helps you to take yourself up and reposition yourself. So earlier on I mentioned about having started a preschool business in 2012. It started on well, and it became one of the best schools in the areas that were there in Kamfinsa. But then I was no longer hands-on because it was partnership. So having my job was now allowing me to travel so many times out of Zimbabwe, so I was no longer hands-on. So the time I then came back, things had changed, and I know that I didn't have that rapport with my staff and with the partners that were on the ground. So the business collapsed. So that is when I then told myself, okay, so if it has collapsed, is it the end of the world? At times you get to ask yourself those questions, like, okay, so I can't make it. But I told myself, anyway, with this experience, now I've known a bit of education, because I'm not an educationist. I then developed, become an educationist. Now that I've failed on this business, what are the key learning areas? So I had to pick key learning areas from that failure, and that's how Kindake was birthed. So from a failure, a new vision was created. So without having exposed myself to such situations, maybe by now I could have not taken my passion into a real business, because my passion was working with children and also developing communities.
Wow. I think we can't conclude this interview without you speaking to women. Just some few words of encouragement to women out there. You've got 90 awards.
What I can inspire women out there, for me, I'm in a male-dominated industry. Education sector is more male-dominated. So what I would say to women is that pursue your dreams, irrespective of gender. I now sit on different boards, so there has really been a brick wall where women are hardly found in these boards. We need a female voice in these strategic positions. So no matter where you are or the background that you live in, you can go beyond. It's just a change in mindset where you really need to say, okay, if I need to move from this position to the other, what really takes me to move there? Find a mentor. Find people who have walked the journey and then learn from them. Network. Women don't want to network. Coach, truly speaking, I've had challenges with women. They don't want to network. So people would want to ride over networks that I would have created. People don't know that it takes time, effort, commitment, investments to create such a network. My network is vast. So people should not really say, let me just come to just brush shoulders with the networks that we have. But when we create opportunities for you to come and brush, like the Entrepreneurs Meetup, I then put out some of the networks that I have so that you can come and meet them face to face and relate with them and also learn from them. So be able to network, be able to show and prove that you can do it. Nothing is too small to be recognized, and your efforts should continuously be worked on. Be committed, be a resilient, be a fighter, be a conqueror. Challenges okay. We find for women we are touched more on the heart. So things, God gave us hands. So what should come out for hands is productivity and multiplication. So when you compare ourselves with men, we can do more. We can produce more. You find the quote that says, educate a man and educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate the nation. So as women, we have power, we have the force to control, we have the force to make impact and get united towards a specific cause.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you very much. I think the women have had that, have actually had that. On this show, we believe in personal development. We believe in books. What are some of the, I know you're an author as well, but what are some of the books that have shaped and molded you into the person that you are today?
The greatest book that has shaped me is the Bible.
Okay. I think literally every guest on the show has said the Bible. Okay.
I would say the Bible because even the other novels and books that would come from other people, their inspiration would have come from the Bible. So the Bible is my inspiration. That is what has really shaped me in terms of my mind, my growth, my development. Without it, I could have not have reached this far. You find the other books that would come on leadership by John Maxwell. I follow him. He's a great leader. I've had programs with him. So, and even Dr. Strive, I've worked with him. That journey of having worked with billionaires, it opened my mind in so many ways, such that it has also pushed me to say, I can also be one. So I'm on a journey to become one. It's so that I've reached there, but I'm working towards being one. So we can read books that are physical, but I've learned that you can read books that we can see in people. A person can be a book that can be readable because we observe what they do. And as we read what they do, they don't know that they are being seen as books being read, but that's how I see.
Wow. Amazing. I think from what you were saying, I think I just have a question. You mentioned Dr. Strive, you mentioned all the billionaires. Okay, what does it take to hang around such people? You know, I think most people want to hang around. I have seen it. You know, if you ask people, do you want to hang around billionaires? They'll raise their hands. But I think there's something that it takes for you to hang around them. What has been, maybe we can't call it your secret, but what would you think our viewers could benefit from you?
I think what I would say is mostly on the level of trust and also how you present yourself to them. You find with business etiquette, you can't ask for a business card from a person, no. The first impression within those few seconds, how have you sold yourself? So how you present yourself before a billionaire the first time counts. So even when Strive comes and I have an opportunity to meet with him in those, maybe in 1 minute, what I say out, when you fail to introduce yourself in 1 minute, in yourself and what you do and what interests them, you to network with them, you'd have failed everything. So for me, with these high people, I sell myself more in 1 minute. I tell myself who I am, what I do, my interest, my passion. In 1 minute, I can do that. And they see that this person is full of direction. This person is focused. So let me relate more with this person. So nowadays, I've gone to a situation where opportunities are coming to me. I'm no longer hunting for opportunities. So when people come to me, they've now seen that, no, this person is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go and work with it. Let's go and mingle with it. So you have to present yourself in a way that people have now trusted in you, have seen what you do, you're transparent, you're focused, you have not changed what you say. Usually we speak and we divert. But when you speak, are you consistent with what you have said? If you say this, yes, and later on you divert, you have missed the whole talk. So everything comes back on what you do. How you present yourself, how you talk, and how you relate with others.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. It actually reminds me of this thing. I think it's been circulating on social media that you're very familiar with the saying that says dress the way you want to be addressed. So there were these people were saying that yes, this thing of saying people should know you for your character, it's very taboo when it comes to networking events, because at times people don't have time to study your character, but at least your dressing as well is another way. So guys, first impressions matter. What we say, how we dress. As you can see today I'm wearing a tie. Okay, so as we conclude the interview, Doc, what would be your last words of inspiration to our viewers tuned into the show today?
My last words to the viewers would be, no matter how many times the teeth bite the tongue, they remain in unity. They remain in harmony. So no matter how many times you face challenges, you have been pulled down, people have tried to hammer down on you, remain focused. Still remain running your journey of entrepreneurship, still remain running your journey of life. God gave you a life that you have to live once. You won't come back on it. So with the time that we are left with, run your race. Do anything as if God is coming tomorrow, or do anything as if God is coming today. That is what I would leave for people out there. Any opportunity you come across, embrace it. Even if you don't know how to do it, embrace it. That's how I've done it. When people come to me and say, Doc, do you do this? I say yes. Why? Because I learned through the process. So even if I'm not into engineering, I have to find people in engineering, and I'm learning from them, and then we present documents or the work that needs to be done. So when opportunities come, people grab them. Don't miss out on opportunities. You learn through the process. That's personal development. Always read. Always be informed. Know the trends. Know what is happening. Because if you want to be someone who wants to be who stands out of the crowd, just be different. Have more information than others. That's how you stand out.
Wow. Thank you very much, Doc. And viewers, there you have it. This is Success Talks with Coach Mungate, and today we had Dr. Faith Nyamukapa, and she shared with us her journey and her awards. Thank you very much. We know you're a busy woman, but thank you very much for sparing this time with us. And please continue representing Zimbabwe. You're doing so much well, and we are proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Viewers, there you have it. That was Dr. Faith Nyamukapa. And this is the Success Talks with Coach Mungate show. Please do subscribe to this channel to get more of these inspiring episodes. From me, Coach Tendai, the crew behind the scenes, and our guest today. It's a wrap. Let's meet in the next episode. Thank you.